morning, everybody. It's Tony here with Rebel Financial. Thank you for joining us again here today. So today we have a great guest, Katy Smith from Columbus CEO, and she is now the latest editor for them. So thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, this is exciting. So we'll be talking about, what the magazine is and, the focus and all that, and Katy's new role, but also a lot about Columbus and the things we can learn. So, but I wanted to start just so everybody gets a feel for who you are. Give us a little bit about your background and how you got to this position.
Sure. So I grew up in Bexley, and I went to Kent State University for journalism. When I graduated, I came immediately back home and was an intern at the Columbus Dispatch for 7 months covering state government and the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Suburban News Publications, which was a company that at the time was a competitor to This Week, so it was a chain of 22 weekly newspapers.
And This Week owns Columbus CEO, right?
Now, so now years later, SMP is gone, and Columbus CEO is owned by the same company that owns the Columbus Dispatch.
Okay.
There have been, through various acquisitions have happened in our local media market over time, and so it has ended up that, yes, the parent company to my former competitor is now my employer.
Okay. Well, good. So that's a little bit. So Columbus CEO is a free magazine. It covers all of Columbus. So what is the focus of the magazine? What's the mission? What are you trying to
Here, let me show it to everybody.
Well, let me first say that this is your first full edition that you've done as a new editor. So it's a great, great edition. So we'll talk a little bit about the cover and things like that. But go ahead and.
Yeah. I would be remiss, though, let me just say, after I left Suburban News, I didn't go straight to Columbus CEO. I spent 11 years at Columbus Business First.
Okay.
And that is a weekly business publication that also does daily online coverage that's owned by American City Business Journals. And so now, so that was where I really became a business journalist.
Okay.
And so now I continue that at Columbus CEO, which is a magazine about Columbus's business community, and it comes out every month. It's completely local. All of the stories in here are about local businesses, local business people. We do a lot of profiles. We like to do, this is a magazine, so we're writing long form journalism. We're writing things with a lot of context, a lot of background. Mm-hmm. We tell the whole story, or at least we try to every time.
Right. Well, I think it's essential, right? If you're going to be here in Columbus and you really want to know what's going on in Columbus from a business point of view, this has it all. I mean, last week we talked about root insurance, and then I saw that, again, it was mentioned in here. So I had never heard of it. Now I know more about them and such. I hadn't known about the CEO of State Auto. You had him in here and stuff. So because one of our clients is with them and such. So. But if you really want to know what's going on in Columbus with businesses, and you don't limit it to any particular industries or anything like that.
No, it's any industry, and we also do a healthy coverage of nonprofits. Right before I came on, actually, Columbus CEO won an award for covering nonprofits. We have a monthly spotlight.
Okay. So
every month we have coverage of a different nonprofit.
Okay, and so. You're being the editor, you've just taken it over. You have a lot of staff, as you said, freelance writers. How are you deciding, what to write about, or what should be in this month's edition?
So really, it's different. I come from the world of weekly newspapers, and being in a monthly now, I feel like I only have 12 chances this year for a great cover story. Mm-hmm. And I only have 12 chances this year for a great small business spotlight. And so I feel like I'm being more choosy than I ever have been about what stories I do, but I'm trying to make sure that what we're talking about in the magazine is current. So it's something that people are out there talking about now. They can come and find more information about it. Mm-hmm. And I try to have it be a little newsy. It is a magazine, so we're always going to be telling stories with a lot of deep context, but it's nice if there's a little news in there too, mm-hmm. or a new way of looking at an old issue. Mm-hmm. And So yeah, really keeping our finger on the pulse of what's going on out there, what people are talking about, what are the concerns they're facing, and then also doing forward-looking pieces, helping people sort of put together, the business community, look ahead to what it faces and what it needs to deal with next.
Well, since this is your first edition, let's just talk a little bit more in depth about your cover story.
Sure.
So, so you want to? I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, sure. So this month's cover is on Corinne Berger. She is running the local operations for J.P. Morgan Chase. So nearly 20,000 people are sort of on her watch. I don't imagine that they all directly report to her, but she is a CPA. She came up through the ranks at Chase over a period of many years, and now reports to a man who is president and COO of J.P. Morgan Chase overall in New York, Gordon Smith, who reports to Jamie Dimon.
Right.
So she's at the highest levels of leadership in this bank, and she's participated in lots of mergers for them with her accounting background. And she now leads Columbus, which it turns out is the largest employment center for J.P. Morgan Chase. And also J.P. Morgan Chase is our Central Ohio region's largest private employer. And so she's on the board of Columbus 2020. She's on the board at Columbus State Community College, and she's working to engage the different institutions around town, including Ohio State, to make sure that we have a great workforce going into the future. Because a lot of people are going to be moving to Central Ohio in the next 30 years. Right now we have about 2 million population. They're saying we're going to add 1 million people by 2050 and 600,000 jobs.
So 50% bigger.
So that is major.
That.
I mean, can you imagine? How are we going to absorb all of that? Where are they going to live? Where are they going to work? What kinds of jobs will they do? How will they move around? How will they drive? Will they drive? Will they own cars? I mean, there's so many things that are going to change. It's really exciting.
Yeah, no, it is. And I'm a big proponent. The way we do our education for the businesses need people isn't totally efficient. It's run by schools when it should be run by businesses to kind of drive their needs. So I think that's exciting. Hope to see more of that. So
yeah, I definitely think there's a trend right now for there are colleges popping up that are more they're doing education that where they're working directly with business to say what do they need, what types of jobs, what skills are they looking for to help their businesses grow and succeed.
Well, and of course here we always hear about OSU, but Columbus State is doing a lot of those things and is really heavily involved in that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're talking about, since you're a Columbus native here, you're talking about 2050. What about going back from when you first started the dispatch? Like what have you seen changes in that time in Columbus as far as from a business point of view?
So much change, right? Let me just tell you, do you ever go to City Center Mall?
You know what? I think I told you my wife is from here, so she tells me about it, right? We're talking about downtown and such. I had never been there.
So it opened the year I was in 8th grade, and I remember my friend Richard. Hi, Richard. Richard and I went there, and we took the bus and from Bexley, and we went. We thought it was the greatest thing ever, and City Center really was the greatest thing ever, but it turned out that it just didn't work downtown, and so they tore it down. There's a park there now instead, and I feel like that was the beginning of a renaissance for downtown Columbus. I'm just gonna peg it to City Center being torn down. New residences are being built left and right. I mean, you can't go half a block without seeing cranes and all kinds of construction activity. They're trying to get more companies to move their headquarters downtown, and then beyond that, I mean, the short north, just to the north of downtown, is crazy with activity and investments, and then that continues all along that High Street corridor. When I was growing up, that was a sleepy time. It was sleepy. City Center was there. To the north, it was the short north. It was just starting to wake up. Artists and really pioneering people were hanging out around the short north. It was inexpensive, but it was sort of very much at the vanguard of like cool. It was a hip place, but no one was investing there. Now you've got people coming in left and right trying to do projects, big real estate projects. So I feel like Columbus is coming into its own. People are starting to be able to talk about it outside of the city and call it Columbus and not just Columbus, Ohio. And all of our industries are really maturing. And I think that's thanks to a stable economy because we have so much diversity here. We didn't have too much of a reliance on manufacturing. We're really a banking and insurance town and a government town.
Mm-hmm.
And so those jobs have been somewhat, I think, insulated.
Yeah, and technology is a big part of all that, right? I mean, I think Columbus, for the size city we are, I mean, we always hear about Silicon Valley, and of course you have your normal players in that, but Columbus really is at the forefront in a lot of different technologies as well.
Yeah, it's definitely up and coming with that. It keeps being named to all these lists of, best city for tech startups and such. And so while that is great and that's really maturing,
Mm-hmm.
there's still room for improvement in the tech sector and the startup sector. What I hear from people when I talk to them is that they need more venture capital, and that's getting better here. But it's still more difficult to get funding here than it is elsewhere.
Okay.
But you balance that against what is for now a relatively decent cost of living. Is affordable,
right?
And the fact that everyone is so nice here,
right?
And I think it's genuine, it's sincere. It's a really great community.
Yeah.
And you said you came from Chicago,
Correct.
So that's also Midwest.
Yep.
Are people as nice there as they are here?
You know what? I'm an optimist. It sounds like you're an optimist too. So I always thought, I mean, here it is more smaller town than Chicago, so. But I always think that Midwest in general just seems to be a little more relaxed about things, and ultimately that's what it comes down to. I think people are pretty much nice everywhere. It's just that they have maybe a more busy attitude. But Columbus is different, as you call it, a community, right? This is not. It's a big city, really, right? But it acts like a community.
I think so. I think I've called it the biggest small town. I don't know, the smallest big town?
Yeah.
Which one?
They both work.
Something like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good thought. But that's what it feels like. But it really is expanding. I mean, traffic, you probably are out and about a lot. Traffic is a lot heavier today than even 5 years ago. You can feel it.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, a lot that as we talk about growing the population by 50%, we're starting to see that. And so we need to make changes for that as well. But technology is going to help with that in a number of capacities.
I think that's the anticipation. I actually had to stop. We didn't talk about this earlier, but so in between, right before I took the job at CEO, I worked at the Central Ohio Transit Authority, and they are going through this amazing transformation where they're trying to explore, what is the future of mobility, and that, I mean, some of the person that's leading them, the new CEO, Joanna Pinkerton, she's an engineer, and when you sit and you talk to her about what transportation is going to look like 20 years from now, she will blow your mind. Like, it does have so much to do with technology. And we have a really exciting project here in Central Ohio, the US 33 Smart Mobility Corridor. So it's 33 that runs from Dublin to Marysville. The road has sensors in it. It's a smart road. And so the idea is that eventually, so the example is, let's say you're in a line of cars and you guys are all turning right, and then how some people kind of lag and there's like a long space in between two cars. You're going, hurry up, I'm gonna miss the light. Well, so technology in the future can actually solve that and make all the cars be efficiently moving, because we can't just build a bunch of roads to this is what they say, that we can't build roads to solve the issue of how to accommodate all these new travelers.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm envious because you're in the know and all this stuff, and it is exciting, right? I mean, as we grow and technology grows, we're going to see a lot of changes coming. So we've been going a little bit here. We do want to make mention, if we go real quick to the website, just so people know, it's columbusceo.com. And so are we going to see mostly, can you go to here or the print article to see everything? I mean, what would be your suggestion for managing when you look at this as compared to the magazine?
So the magazine comes out once a month, and we actually don't post all of the content online immediately because we like to let our subscribers see all of it first. So the best way to see all of it first is to subscribe to Columbus CEO. It's free.
It's free.
Yeah, but on columbusceo.com, you'll be able to see our entire archive, and also we're doing daily web stories. So just this week, we were the first ones to break the news that Mount Carmel West in Franklinton is going to be redeveloped by a local developer named Wagenbrenner Development, and they're really well known for taking urban sites that have been used for other things and turning them into a new types of development. Yeah, that's the story right there.
Awesome. So you'll get a daily dose there, but obviously the major articles are going to be in the print first.
Yep.
So okay, all right. Well, listen. Thank you for joining us, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
great
good
having
talking to you.
Great meeting with you. So thank you. Until next weekend. Have a great weekend and enjoy the snowstorm that may or may not be coming. We'll see. So take care.